Ladies and gentlemen, this next fight is three-minute rounds in the APFC Welterweight division. This fight is presented to us by Third Coast T-Shirts. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing at 5 feet, 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 169.8 pounds and fights out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Here is Christian Gonzalez. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing at 5 feet, 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 169.6 pounds. Fighting out of Arlington, Virginia, here is David Bergida. And when the action begins, our referee in charge is Jason King.
David Bergida, the 15th ranked amateur welterweight, just at 29 years young. Wrestled at Virginia Tech, Division I, redshirt junior. We'll see how that helps him here tonight against Gonzo.
Look for him to come out and get to his leg attacks right away and just pressure. He said pressure was going to be the key to victory for him here tonight, and as you see, he comes out firing.
Leaping into the arms of Christian Gonzalez, and record is certainly not reflective of his ability. Started the career on a 3-fight skid, now 3-fight win streak for Christian Gonzalez.
Definitely has been able to turn the tide here these last 3 fights and, you know, possibly potentially carry that on here into the APFC.
Great shot on the break for Christian Gonzalez. Gonzo moving on the bike effectively. Excellent parrying as well. There's that Virginia Tech shot right there.
David coming in right on the single leg after throwing that hand. Gonzo doing a great job defending, you know, getting his hips off the line there. Nice underhook.
David Bergida outside of competition, starting a meal prep business, Farm to Fuel Foods. On the weekends, that's what he dedicates his time to. If you need something healthy, I'd imagine David Bergida is the guy.
Bergida doing a great job there. Has both legs trapped in that figure 4, you know, typical wrestler position. You see that a lot from the likes of like a Khabib Nurmagomedov or Ben Askren. They get in on shots, they lock up those legs, and they just chip away at you on top until they can advance.
And what's interesting about David is the cauliflower ear really isn't that prevalent. You would expect, at least I would expect, a wrestler to have a little bit more of a balloon on the side of his head.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to take my headphones off for you, Ben, and show you. No, that just kind of speaks probably to his style. He's probably a little more technical, not just like a brute and just marches forward. Probably a little more technical in his approach to grappling and wrestling, and that's why you don't see the ear trauma, a.k.a. the cauliflower ear.
70 seconds left in round number 1. Gonzo largely rendered defenses here on the ground. What can he do to pop back up to the feet?
Well, right now, when you got someone like David Bergida on top of you, you just got to try to move. You don't want to overthink it. Don't give him your back, you know, but just try to move and get to a different position. When you have a dominant wrestler that's heavy on top like that, he probably feels like a brick wall is laying on top of him right now.
Christian Gonzalez said that the hardest part about mixed martial arts was himself working through the mental frustrations of the game, the questions that training and difficulty with learning new tactics and strategies can pose, but feels like he was confident as he could be in fight week.
Very much so, man. Martial arts is problem solving at the highest degree with the highest risk. You got a 1/10 of a second to make adjustments when you're in there, and right now Gonzo needs to make an adjustment and possibly get to his feet where I think he has the best chance of being successful here tonight.
10 seconds remains. He was able to land a nice little kick that momentarily brought David Bergida back, but Bergida just clearly strong as a tank as he closes out round number 1. Big strikes by both guys, don't land. Interesting round, kind of what we would have expected from a Virginia Tech wrestler in David Bergida.
Very much so. Bergida did exactly what he said he was going to come out here to do tonight. Pressure forward and wrestle, and that's what we saw, and that's why I'm going to give him the nod in that first round.
When we think about what Christian Gonzalez can do, obviously stay on the feet, name of the game, but are there any tactics he can employ?
His rebuttal, he has to put Bergida on his back foot. So you often see wrestlers that come out, that pressure forward, but they're not used to someone doing that to them. You know, sometimes you have to go out there and you have to bully the bully to win a fight, and that's what Gonzo has to do.
Once again, this fight is brought to you by Third Coast T-Shirts. If you want some good wear upstairs, head over to Third Coast T-Shirts. David Bergida getting married next year as well. A lot of life changes for that 29-year-old. Seems like he's got his head in the right place, David.
Very much so, and definitely here in this fight tonight in his approach, you know, sticking to what he's good at, his bread and butter, coming out and just implementing his game plan, T for T.
Might be contrary to the first several minutes, but he did say that while he's known for the wrestling, and that's probably his best base, his striking is something to be seen, and bets that Christian Gonzalez isn't going to be aware of how good those hands are. Excellent land by Bergida.
Big right hand, and then transitions to a big double leg by Bergida. Locks the legs up right away, does not let Gonzo settle in that position. Locks the leg up and look for him to maybe transition to the back to where he can maybe finish this fight.
Gonzo trying to maybe build a base here and post and raise. Can he get back to his feet? That body lock right there for Bergida is broken.
Gonzalez did a good job building his base. You know, that's something we didn't necessarily see in the first round. He felt that pressure on top and was like, hey, I don't want to be here, worked his way up, and now he's in a better position to even get his back off of the cage.
There is no question about the heart and willpower of Christian Gonzalez. Again, starting the career with a 3-fight losing streak, 0-3, and now battling his way back. You just can't question him.
Yeah, there's something about coming out and being successful, but there's a different type of beast. It takes a different type of person to lose and then come back. That's what defines a fighter.
David Bergida partially lands with a head kick right there. Gonzalez leaping in with some hooks, but Bergida evades. Seems like he's just unsure of when to pull the trigger on the feet.
However, Bergida does. You know, whenever Gonzalez does attempt to throw a strike, you see Bergida duck under those shots, get right to his double leg, wrap those legs up, and go to work.
What is the best practice in breaking that lock and finding your feet back under you?
So he has to use his hands and push Bergida's hips off so his knees can go below his knees. So once Gonzalez gets his knees out of that lock there, he'll have room to maybe work and go into like a butterfly guard and then work and advance from there.
He'll have 45 seconds with which to make those adjustments. Round number 2 has been largely business as usual for David Bergida, who's now flowing to the back, David.
And Gonzalez was doing the right thing. He's got his knees free, but however, Bergida was just staying to it. Every time Gonzalez adjusts, Bergida adjusts. And now he's on the back with a tight crank. Not quite a choke yet.
You can see Bergida.
It's under the chin, Ben.
Squeezing away. Can Gonzo hang on? 15 seconds remain in round number 2. That's a Virginia Tech squeeze, David.
Man, Bergida just going right back to it. Short time here by Gonzalez. He's a fighter. Is he going to fight through it? He needs to get his back to the cage here.
It's going to take a little bit more than that to finish Gonzo, but what another good round by David Bergida. Just really checking all the boxes that you want from him.
Almost got the finish, but not quite. But if I'm Bergida's coach, I talk to him in the corner and I say, hey, we don't change a thing. You go back to what's been working. Gonzalez, we know what he has to do. He has to put Bergida on his back foot. He's been reacting this entire fight, just reacting. He needs to take the initiative and take control of this fight. Here we have some highlights here, and I'll walk you guys through that. Bergida, the shot has been carrying him through this entire fight. Gets to the shot, wraps the leg up in the figure 4, the Russian tie with the legs there, and he has much success there on the ground. Another beautiful double leg just blasts right through Gonzo's defense. Gets into the position, sneaks his way to his opponent's back, gets the rear naked choke. However, Gonzalez was able to fight the hands, and you know, he lasts another 5 minutes here.
Talk to me about the body language of Christian Gonzalez and David Bergida. Bergida taking some very deep breaths in between rounds.
Gonzalez really is coming out with a sense of urgency. He takes the center of the cage right away, and Bergida just kind of doing what he's been doing, staying calm, staying relaxed, landing a big shot, but we know what we're gonna do and what we're gonna see after that.
Some creativity from Gonzo with the spinning back kick. Doesn't land. Bergida.
Beautiful
shot,
sprawl by Gonzalez.
Now Gonzo trading, needs to remain on his feet.
Bergida doing a great job, feinting the hands, but then feinting the shot, so you're not quite able to pick up on his timing Gonzalez in the center of the cage, moving his hands, touching up Bergida a little bit. Nice little switch stance, right hand overhook there, but Bergida goes right back to the double leg.
Beautiful shot from Bergida. Wrapped it all up and brought the bigger man down. 2 minutes remain, and it's hard to imagine that Christian Gonzalez is going to be able to get out of this position.
Yeah, I think what Gonzalez needs, especially against, you know, a wrestler of the caliber of Bergida, he needs an attack off of his back. So it's one of those things to where when it comes to wrestling, it's a time thing. You're never going to catch up to Bergida's wrestling. But what you can do, you can build a defense to their wrestling. Maybe work a guillotine, maybe work on setting up a triangle. And if he adds that, he won't have as much of an issue against wrestlers of this caliber.
Gonzo reverses position. 90 seconds remains. He's got a minute and a half to try and finish this one. You can see him looking for maybe a potential choke. Separation.
Nice sweep there, got Bergida off balance, but wasn't able to capitalize.
Oh!
Through the knee up the middle. I mean, that's the perfect counter for someone that you know is going to shoot in. Throw a knee up the middle, throw an elbow up the middle, an uppercut, anything to detour that shot.
That really got David Bergida blinking. Christian Gonzalez, though, tried his absolute best, but floored once again, now in the center of the octagon. And
it looks like Bergida's going to be able to advance past half guard here and possibly into mount. But you see often all the times as a wrestler, and I'm comfortable there, is that we're comfortable in half guard. We want to hang out here. It's not as much danger as full guard. It's a little more safe, a lot more stable than full guard, so to speak. So look for Bergida to maybe even just kind of hang out here in half guard, land some ground and pound, land his shots, and just smother Gonzalez for the rest of the round here. 30 seconds left. He's done everything he's needed to do to win.
Christian Gonzalez tried to swim in the waters of David Bergida, but largely drowning here as we approach the final stretch of round 3. The work rate of David Bergida cannot be questioned as he puts in some well-earned rounds here in the APFC octagon.
Bergida's just perpetual motion this has been for Bergida from round 1, the first second of round 1, all the way to the culmination of round 3. He has not stopped moving, he has not stopped shooting, he has not stopped pressuring his opponent, and that is going to give him the win, in my opinion, tonight.
I would agree. The red shirt junior showing up, showing out in the mixed martial arts realm, still remaining undefeated at 3-0 now. First time he hasn't finished an opponent, so props to Christian Gonzalez for having the toughness to last the full 3 rounds. Nobody's been able to do that since.
No finish, but he did everything right for every second of the round, and I think that's almost even more impressive than a finish at times.
Arlington, Virginia's David Bergida, coached by Kamal Shalaris and Charles DeGisco. They're going to be happy with that one when they go and break the tape down. You know, he said coming into this that without arrogance, he felt he's 3 to 4 levels above this current level of competition. Kind of hard to deny that with a performance like that.
Very much so. I mean, his performance was definitely a testament to his belief.
We send it inside to Shane Graham to find out the winner between David Bergida and Christian Gonzalez.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, David Bergida!
David Bergida, still undefeated at 3-0, finds himself to the scorecards for the first time in what looks to be a promising mixed martial arts career.